Well, good morning and welcome in to the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help with that, well, I use an inspiring quote. And today's is so good, but it hits a little differently. It's from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." Oh, this one is really hard to wrap your head around because it's so frustrating. Yeah, why is that? Well, because we live in a world that moves fast and expects everything faster. Results, answers, breakthroughs, even healing. But nature doesn't work like that. You know what? Sometimes God doesn't work like that either. It's going to take some time. But what are you going to do in the waiting? See, I remember back to a time when I had been let go from a job. It was rough. I had been there for a while. I really enjoyed my job, but there was this relationship I had with one of my superiors that it was toxic. It was rough. And so it was a really hard work environment. Anyway, I get sent home one day, my last day on the job. It's like, this was devastating to me. And here I am wondering, what's next? I've got a wife and I can't pay the bills now. So you better believe I started looking for a new job. I started putting out applications. I started emailing, getting my resume updated, all of that. And it was going nowhere. At least that's what I thought because, hey, it kept dragging on. Week after week after week. I'm checking in. I'm getting my unemployment. I'm making sure that my resumes are out there. I'm making sure that everything is just right to give me the best chance of getting a new job. I found something I was really interested in. Because I'd been working in television, I knew a lot about cameras and video, so I found this job in Huntsville at a video production company that did primarily weddings. It's like, hey, I've never really done weddings before, but I can learn to do that. So I go and talk with the guy who's offering the job, and, you know, we hit it off. I think, wow, this interview is going very well. And so I thought for sure I'd be hearing from him. Just, you know, maybe a day after the interview, maybe even that evening. He would call me up and say, "Hey, Steven, if you want the job, it's yours." Did that happen? No, it didn't. In fact, another opportunity came up. Yeah, it was a call center in Madison. And I went for that interview. Everything went great. In fact, they were ready to start me. They had me a starting date and everything lined up. But the video production job came through right in the nick of time. And I was able to do that. And that brought me so much joy. I mean, seriously, being there with people on their special day, videoing that huge milestone in their lives and making them feel special, it became a true source of happiness for me and something that I really enjoyed doing. So, you know what? I was frustrated because it was taking so long to find that job. But when it finally came, it was just right. And guess what? Looking back on it now, I can see how it led me straight here. Yeah, to being in the studio, hanging out with you. So hindsight is 2020. You're going to be frustrated in the middle of the waiting, but keep waiting. Keep trusting God that everything's going to work out for your good because He really is doing that behind the scenes. He's working all things together for your good. And sometimes we just forget that. So, you know what? That's the thing about waiting. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean there's no progress. It's like seeds underground. The soil looks still, but deep down something's growing, and in due time it pushes through. Isaiah 40:31 says this, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Not those who rush, not those who force it, those who wait." So if you are in a season of waiting today, waiting for answers, healing, restoration, or maybe even just a little clarity, you know what? Don't lose heart. God is not late. He's preparing you for what's next, and it is worth the wait. Here's Caleb and John featuring Cain with Somebody Like Me.
I'm the child of a loving father. I'm a part of the family.
What do we do when we want to protect something? We want to keep something from being hurt. Well, we put up a boundary, right? We put something up to keep whatever it is that might harm that thing from it. But what happens when we put up boundaries in our life? More than boundaries, what happens when we put up walls in our lives? Well, let's dig into that one right after this. It's Evan Kraft with Chances, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Stick around, this is going to be good.
There's a lie that says you're defined by your mistakes, telling you that you can try, but you'll never change. But one thing it forgets is the power of amazing grace. See, it can pick you up, even from the darkest grave.
There are two terms that I like to really differentiate between, and they both start with a C. One of them is condemnation, and the other one is conviction. And so many times we get those two confused, don't we? But let me spell it out for you. Let me explain it to you as simply as I can. Condemnation makes you want to run away from God because you're afraid of his judgment. Conviction makes you want to run to God because you're sorry for what you did and you want restoration. There's a huge difference, isn't there? Condemnation and conviction. Those are a couple of C words, but there's a couple other terms that I think we need to really define so we figure out what role they play in our lives. They're B words, okay? So one of them is boundary. Okay, a boundary. What exactly is that? Well, you have set up a bit of a rule. You've set up kind of this imaginary line that you don't cross. And it's so important to have boundaries in your life because it helps you to say yes to the best things and to be able to say no to the things that are not going to bring much. Boundaries are needed. But there's another word, and if we're not easy, we let our boundaries become barriers. Now, barriers take on a whole different feel because barriers don't let anything in. Barriers actually don't let us out. That's rough, isn't it? Because as you progress through this life, those boundaries that you set, well, there's a little wiggle room here and there in what you're dealing with in your life at the time and what you're ready to take on. You can expand those boundaries a little bit. You can start to grow a little bit. But with the barriers, they're stuck. They're not going anywhere. They're keeping people from you and they're keeping you from people. That means even the good stuff because you're trying to protect yourself from the bad stuff. Actually, I came across Joey, who has a really good handle on this topic. Take a listen.
When someone hurts me, I don't want to get hurt again. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a barrier so no one can hurt me. The problem with that is then no one can love me either, and I can't love anybody else. And so we trade, I don't want to get hurt, for lasting, loving relationships that can actually help us become everything that the Lord wants for us. And so unforgiveness causes these barriers and these strains. People are going to hurt you, but for you to trade that hurt for the love that you get and encouragement that you get for others is a travesty.
So what do we have to do then? Well, let me kind of suggest this, okay? Let's knock down those boundaries. Let's keep some godly barriers in our lives. But then at the same time, let's fortify ourselves. Let's make sure that we are strong, that we are all that we can be. How do we do that? By grounding ourselves, by rooting ourselves a little deeper in our faith, by enhancing that relationship we have with our Father because He brings the joy, the peace, the restoration that we need. Yeah, He brings us the strength even to get through those tough times and those relationships that sometimes we feel like might tear us down. As we're grounded in Him, He helps us go through even the toughest storms. He helps us withstand the toughest attacks of the enemy. So let's keep ourselves rooted, grounded, fortified in Him, and it'll be okay.
I let go long ago, thinking I knew everything. I let love in my soul, started listening to the choir sing. When I let down on my pride, was a death that saved my life, and that's how I know the darkest night still end with the sunrise. 'Cause love's got a way.
Right now, those temperatures, well, they're a little warmer this morning than they were yesterday at this time. For instance, it's already 59 degrees in Boaz. We were just kind of kissing the 50s yesterday and the day before, right? But now, well, 59 in Coleman. And I think you know where I'm going with this, because just about everywhere else, kissing the 60s. Yeah, it's 60 right now in Bluentsville, 61 here in Guntersville, 61 in Scottsboro, and 62 over in Huntsville. Now let's talk a little bit about your word of life. Now it's from Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 25, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. And I know what you're thinking. If you know a little bit about Lamentations, you're like, oh no, here we go. This is going to be dark. No, it's actually not. This is a really good scripture. The Lord is good to those who depend on him, to those who search for him. Wow, I love that. So yeah, seek and you will find, right? Yeah, he wants to be found. So as you seek, you better believe he's going to let you find him. And it's going to be pretty amazing when you do. And you realize the whole time you were looking, he was with you every step of the way. Why don't you share that word of life with somebody? We've got it ready for you across all of our socials and at the top of our website. That's 885jfm.com. You know, there should be a joy that comes with this life because of what God has done for us, because of the gift that he gives us. Well, let's be honest, the gifts, plural, the gifts that he gives us. And you know what? He put some pretty amazing people around us. Some people who have never even heard about Jesus. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. So how vocal are you about your faith? You know what? We want to help equip you to be more vocal, to be able to share your faith openly. So that's the reason why we have this word of life. It's the reason why I spend time putting it in photo and video form and putting it up on the socials for you to take advantage of, because it's a great conversation starter. So I hope that you'll use them. Use them to share the gospel, to bring some love and some joy and some happiness to this world. Because when you find that good news, it just puts a smile on your face. You know what I mean? Hey, Joel Modis, I see you hanging out with us down in Palm Coast, Florida. I hope you're having a great morning so far. And you, our friends in Vogelen and Fuchenstein in Germany, I hope you're having a great afternoon. How about some more music? Maybe Riley Clemens, Loved by You? Sounds good to me. The Truth by Megan Woods right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. So how many times have you found yourself in the middle of self-doubt? It's like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Do I really know what I'm doing? Am I qualified for this? I mean, you can think yourself into a state of paralysis if you let it happen. Because, hey, are any of us qualified? Are we all learning as we go? You know what I mean? But you know what? It really helps to have a friend who comes along and says, you know what? I see this in you. I see greatness in you. I see what you're doing here, and you're doing an amazing job. Those little bits of support, they really go a long way. So I wonder if maybe you'll remember that today and be that friend who comes behind that other and pushes them just a little bit, gives them that little extra support that they need, gives them a little fresh breath, because sometimes we feel like in the middle of doing what we do, that we're just spinning our wheels, and we need somebody to come alongside us and say, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And it doesn't take much for us to do that, to be that kind of friend. You know what? I want to drive this home for you. I got a little bit of an example here from a guy that you hear quite often on our radio station. His name is Jason Roy from Building 429, and he was going through a pretty rough patch himself until a good friend of his spoke up. Take a listen.
My drummer saw me struggling with those thoughts, and he stopped, dead stopped, turned around and looked at me and said, don't you see it yet? And I said, well, I mean, yeah, I see that God's doing something. He said, no, don't you see it, that you are made to lead people? You are made to do this. And I remember it just set something loose inside of me, and all the doubts of whether I was really meant to do this or whether it was just an accident or just a season went away. And I went to my bus and I wrote this chorus that just spoke to where I was. It said, I'm a mess. I'm a wrecking ball. I must confess that I still don't get it all. But Lord, I believe that all your words are true. It doesn't matter where I'm going. If I'm going with you, I'm going to press on.
I'm going to press on. Sometimes we just need that little extra oomph, that little bit of confidence, that little support. So be that for somebody today. You never know how you're really going to impact them. Here they are now, Building 429.
Sometimes this world starts breaking me down. I get so lost, I think I'll never be found. And there are moments of fear and doubt. Even the best fall to the ground.
Well, here we are, nearing the end of the school year. Are you kids ready for summer break? Well, I sure hope so. But let me tell you something. Your teachers are dealing with some stuff right now that you have no idea about, because as we get closer to the end of the school year, that means that those supplies that you use in your classroom are likely running out. What am I talking about? Well, I don't know, maybe pencils. Yeah. Oh, there are all kinds of pencils, right? And if you ever need one, well, likely you ask your teacher, she's like, yeah, you can use one of my pencils. But you know what? They aren't just never ending. They have to come from somewhere. And sometimes students can be very rough on those pencils, can't you? Whether you're chewing on the eraser or maybe sometimes you're seeing just how strong that pencil is and you snap it in half. Well, you see, Allison is a teacher on edge. And she has finally come to the conclusion there's certain precautions that she has to take, certain things she has to do, because when it comes to a particular brand of pencil, you have to. So take a listen to this.
I've officially gotten to the point of stapling pencils back together. Because you know what? You chew the eraser off of my A+ homework brand pencil, don't care. You bite the eraser off of my plastic wrap Dollar Tree pencil, don't care. You double sharpen my Universal brand pencil, don't care. You snap the green pencils in half from the Leprechaun, don't care. But you snap my brand new Ticonderoga? That's where I draw the line. It will be stapled back together. I'm done.
Yeah. So, the moral of the story, please be careful, especially with those Ticonderoga pencils. And for all you teachers, I thought you might want to know about this. You see, that's Allison. She goes by Shy B over on TikTok. And the reason why she did this was to share a little love with the Ticonderoga brand, because you see, right now, they're doing their Ticonderoga Loves Teachers campaign. They're giving away 31 prize packs to teachers. Yeah, all you have to do is tell them why you love their brand for a chance to win up to 1,000 pencils for your classroom. Could you imagine having 1,000 Ticonderoga pencils? So I just wanted to put you onto that, teachers, just in case you need it. I mean, who wouldn't want 1,000 pencils? I mean, that would last at least 2 weeks, right? Maybe. Okay. Right now, I think we need to keep this fun going. So there's one song that has been going viral here lately that I've been trying to play right before the car line competition. And I think you know where I'm going with this. It's by this artist. His name is Forrest Frank. And this particular song has a dance that goes with it. Here, take a listen.
Oh Lord, I need you now more than ever. Would you put my heart back together? I searched the world till my head hurt just to find out your ways better. Oh, oh.
Say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Give me the horn! All right, now let's go ahead and let's crank that engine. And then let's start that music so I can say, hey everybody, it's time to play the car line competition. That's right, your chance to win some gift cards this morning. But how many, Steven? I got 3 to give away. 1 to Gunnersville Chick-fil-A, 1 to Albertville Home Bakery, 1 to the Caring Heart Thrift Store in Arab. And it all depends on whether you can answer my question. Now, as we always do, this first question is a open book Bible trivia question. So, are you ready to play my game? Oh, don't be nervous. I don't take the phone calls live. I edit them down, make you sound like a rock star on the radio. So let's do this thing. Here we go. According to 1 Kings, chapter 3, verses 24 through 27, what clever method did Solomon propose to reveal the true mother of a baby? A, he suggested drawing lots. B, he told each woman to take the baby for a week. C, he proposed to divide the baby in two. Or D, he asked the baby to choose. Which one? 256-505-0885. Y'all are quick this morning. I've already got my caller. Stay right there on the phone line with me while I start the song, and I'll get your answer. It's Toby Mac with A Little Church right here, right now on the Lifeline Morning Show. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Blessed.
And highly favored.
Amen.
That's right. So what's up today?
Well, Malachi's going to school. He's back here eating, and he didn't know the answer this morning, but
Really?
I know this. Yes, so that's all
right.
Because we got to learn. If we don't know, we're going to learn, right?
That's exactly right. All right, so let's do this thing. According to 1 Kings 3, verses 24 through 27, what clever method did Solomon propose to reveal the true mother of a baby? Was it A, he suggested drawing lots? B, he told each woman to take the baby for a week. C, he proposed to divide the baby in two. Or D, he asked the baby to choose.
Will be C.
It would be C. And it seems kind of brutal. I mean, cut the baby in half? Seems like a messy option, you know?
Well, that shows a true mother's love right there.
That's exactly right, because he never intended on cutting any baby in half. The reason why he did that was just to show who the real mother was. And you're right, that mother's heart shone through, and she got her baby back. It's a good story. Well, 3 gift cards. What do you think about that?
What we're going to do with him, Malachi? He's swinging his finger around and around, so I think that means to roll him over.
All right, we're going to do it. I hear that train in the background. Y'all rock. You all want to shout somebody out this morning?
We want to shout out Shannon Riley, and wait a minute, Malachi's shaking his hand, and he's going to holler at somebody. Who are you going to holler at, Malachi? And Rhiannon. Rhiannon is my great niece and is Malachi's second cousin. And she had a ball game last night, and she done amazing.
Awesome. What kind of ball game we talking?
Well, it's softball.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, yes. So, and she is a first grader at Earl Elementary, and we hope she has a wonderful and great and blessed day.
Awesome. Y'all are amazing. Thanks so much for just being y'all. Have the best day ever, even if it is cloudy outside. It's still going to be a good day.
It's going to be a great day today. Woo-hoo!
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. And that's how it's done. The car line competition. Those 3 gift cards now rolled into 6. They're on the train. Are you going to cash them out? Are you going to keep it rolling? Do you know the answer to my next question? Well, let's find out right about now, because here is my question. In the new Minecraft movie, which actor plays Steve? Is it A, Jason Momoa, B, Jack Black, C, Matt Berry, or D, Mark Wright? 256-505-0885 is a number to call. I didn't think that would take too long. And there's my caller. I captured it. Stay right there on the phone line with me while I start the song, and I'll get your answer. It is Christian Paul with Yes, I Am.
Hallelujah.
Hey, good morning.
Hello.
What's going on?
I got the answer.
You have the answer. Now, you've got to tell me, have you seen a Minecraft movie?
Yes.
You have. Did you like the Minecraft movie?
Yes.
Nice. What was your favorite part?
The post-credit scene where he finds Alex.
Yeah, it was pretty cool stuff. We went and saw it over the weekend, and it was really good. There was a little song in there, though, about lava and chicken. Did you hear that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the most iconic line I've heard more than anything else is just 2 words. You know what 2 words I'm talking about?
Chicken Alex.
Say it again for me real loud.
Chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey! Oh, man. Okay, so who is Steve?
It is Jack Black.
It is Jack Black. Congratulations to you. You just won 6 gift cards. What do you think about that?
I'm so excited.
Me too, man. This is good stuff. So, you know, with these 6 gift cards, we want you to keep 1 or 2 of them and give the others away. There's some very special people. Can you tell me who they are?
I'd say my mom and my big sister who just came home.
Oh, your big sister who just came home. Tell me more about that.
She just got home from the first semester of college, I think.
Oh, wow. So was it good for her so far?
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, tell me something special about that mom of yours, too.
She's one of the kindest people I've known throughout my entire life.
That's good stuff. Now, am I talking to Lucas?
Yes.
I thought so. You're on the bus right now, aren't you?
Yep.
Man, I think it is so cool you're calling me from the bus. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day, man. That's exciting stuff. All right, so I'm going to get these 6 gift cards sent your way. That sound good?
Yep.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
How cool is that? Lucas taking home 6 gift cards from the bus. And you know, I've got to play a little clip from the movie. It's that iconic line, the way that Jack Black delivers it. It's just so good. Here it is.
Chicken jockey!
You know, I saw a little video where he showed up at a theater. All these kids, it was packed out, and he showed up at the theater before the movie started. And he just said hi. He yelled out chicken jockey. It was hilarious. He even brought the pickaxe with him that he used in the movie. It was so cool. These kids came unglued. They were cheering. They couldn't believe that the star of the movie was right there in front of them in real life. And they were about to watch his work up on the screen. I thought it was so cool. I love little moments like that. Well, hey, that brings us to the end of today's car line competition. But don't worry, we'll play it again tomorrow starting at 7 o'clock. Let me give you some reminders right now about how you can keep in touch, okay? So I'm always ready to hear from you. If you have like a song request or maybe something big has happened in your life, I'd love to celebrate with you. Or maybe you're struggling with something. I'd love to get the opportunity to pray for you. So this is the best way to get in touch with me. Text 256-967-0885, okay? I'll give you one more time, 256-967-0885. All right, now, just in case you have to step away from your radio or you're outside of our listening area, you know, maybe you're headed to work, you're going to be going to Huntsville or somewhere outside of where you can really hear us well, you can tune us in on your smart device, maybe on your computer at work. All you have to do is go to 885jfm.com, click the On Now button there toward the top of the page, and then press play. And we can keep you company all day long. But if you can't do that, I understand. You can catch up on anything you missed, or if maybe your kid called in and played the car line competition, well, they couldn't hear themselves on the radio because they had to get off the bus or they had to get out of the car to go into that schoolhouse before I got to play it on the air. Well, here's a really cool way for you to let them hear themselves and what they sounded like on the radio. Just go to Spotify or Apple Podcast. It'll be up this morning at 10:30, today's episode. All you have to do when you go to those platforms, just type in Lifeline Morning Show, and you'll find our podcast, today's episode, at the top of the list this morning at 10:30. Just wanted to make sure you knew about that. And while you're at it, hey, share the show with somebody. We would love to inspire as many people as we can because that's what we're trying to do, make everybody's day a little bit better. And I hope that we're living up to that. All right. Well, hey, let's hit another song. Then we'll have your business and ministry impact partners, your weather, and your word of life. It's Mac Powell with I Love Jesus right here on the Lifeline Morning Show.
I love Jesus, yes I do.
Well, I got to do some shout outs real quick. I'm seeing quite a few pins on my streaming map. And hey, good morning to you over there just outside of Atlanta. Looks like you're hanging out near Doraville, Georgia. Thanks for being here. Plus, we got our listeners just a little west of Calera this morning, a little south of Alabaster. We got some people just south of City Center in Birmingham, down in Homewood. And we've got our friends right here in North Alabama, over in Arab, Gunnersville, and Albertville. Can't forget Joel Modis. He's hanging out with us in sunny Palm Coast, Florida. Yeah, I hope it's sunny this morning. There's, you know, he loves taking his dogs on a walk in the morning on the beach. How cool would that be? One of these days. And then all the way over across the ocean in Germany. Thank you for making us part of your afternoon there in Fuchenstein and Vogtland. All right, that's the pins I see on my map, but I can't see a pin for you listening on the FM dial or for you listening on the podcast, but I want to tell you just the same. Thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, I love to hear from you, so if you got a request, hey, text me 256-967-0885. Sound good? 256-967-0885. All right, coming up, I think I've got a request to get to. Yeah, I had somebody very special to me who wanted to hear a Brandon Lake song. So, you know what? I better go ahead and take care of that. So, how about the new Hard Fought Hallelujah by Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll? This one goes out to my wife, Cassie, who's on her way to work this morning. Actually, she's probably already there. I hope you're having a wonderful morning so far, babe. And this one goes out to you. Now stick around. I've got a fresh drive time devotion coming up after this. It's Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll with Hard Fought Hallelujah.
And I'll bring my storm-tossed, torn-sail story to tell. Hallelujah. Oh, oh, oh.
Hey, I want to talk a little bit more about what Jelly Roll's been up to with these collaborations, like that one with Brandon Lake, or the other one that I played for you the other day. There is yet another one that just hit the socials that's going viral as well, and it's all about this message that you hear right here on our station all the time, this gospel message, letting people know, hey, it's going to be all right. You're not in this thing alone. There is somebody who loves you. And it's really exciting, but you're going to hear it from a very unlikely source, somebody who's already in the industry who's talking about why this is happening. And it's really insightful. So you'll hear from Corey Asbury about this coming up on the show. But for now, hey, let's get into a fresh drive time devotion, shall we? Yeah, this one, oh, it's so good. I think you're really going to love it. Okay? All right, here we go.
This is Pastor Larry Walls with your Drive Time Devotion. Shortly after Booker T. Washington became the head of Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, he was walking past the house of a wealthy family who lived nearby. Well, the woman of the house assumed Washington was just one of the yard workers her husband had hired and asked him if he would chop her some wood. Professor Washington just smiled, nodded towards her, took off his coat, and began to chop the wood. When he carried the armload of wood inside of the woman's kitchen, one of the servant girls recognized Washington and rushed to the lady of the house to tell her of his identity. The very next morning, the woman appeared in the professor's office, apologizing abruptly and repeatedly saying, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know who it was that I was putting to work. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Professor Washington replied with generosity. He said, "That's entirely all right, madam. I really do like work, and I'm always delighted to work for my friends." The woman was so taken by Washington's manner and his willingness to forgive that she gave many generous gifts to the Institute and persuaded many of her wealthy acquaintances to do the same. In the end, Booker T. Washington raised as much money for the Tuskegee Institution from this one act of chopping wood as he did from any other fundraising event that he did from that day forward. Matthew 23:11 says, "But the greatest among you shall be your servant." You see, a great man is always to be little. A great leader is never beyond hard work. The willingness to serve others is the essence of true leadership. Pray with me today. Lord, help us to be little and serve with humility those whom it's our duty to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Now we're going to take a little trip back to our childhood as Richard Udi has requested this song. It's called Cartoons by Chris Rice. And it's right here, right now. Oh, get ready to sing along. It's a good one.
I was thinking the other day, what if cartoons got saved? They start singing praise in a whole new way.
Stick around. We're going to be talking about waiting. Waiting well, because we're going to call it this. Today is Waiting Well Wednesday. I know, waiting, it doesn't seem like a very flashy topic. It's one of those things that, like, I don't want to wait. I want it now. But you know what? Good things come to those who, yeah, you got it. How about some Pat Barrett with Beautiful Life? This morning we've been talking about patience and how waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. But sometimes, let's be honest, it feels that way. When you're praying and nothing's changing, when you're hoping and the silence stretches on, when your heart says believe, but your eyes see no evidence, that's where today's story hits home. George Müller, a man known for founding orphanages and living a life of bold faith, made a quiet commitment that almost no one noticed. He started praying for the salvation of 5 of his friends. 1 came to Christ in a matter of months. 2 more followed over the next 10 years. The 4th, after 25. But the 5th friend, George prayed for him every single day for over 50 years and never saw a response. Never gave up, never stopped believing. And here's the miracle. That 5th friend, the one George carried in prayer for more than half a century, came to Christ at George Müller's funeral. Think about that. George didn't get to see it with his own eyes, but his prayers, they still had power. That's the kind of God we serve. A God who works behind the scenes in hearts we can't reach, on timelines we don't understand, but with outcomes that are always worth the wait. So if you're praying for someone right now, if you're waiting on healing, direction, or breakthrough, if you're tired and tempted to quit, let this story remind you. He hears, he sees, he's still working. And just like a seed under the soil, your prayers might take root long after you're done praying for them. So wait well, pray faithfully, and trust that little by little, God is moving. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Now Casting Crowns and Desert Road.
I don't want to write this song. I don't want this pain to be my story. I don't want this desert road. Are you sure this is the plan that you have for me?
For those of you who've been hanging around here for a while, you were probably wondering, where is Emery Joy? You talked about having her on the show yesterday. Well, that was the plan, but some things came up and Emery, well, she had to cancel. But that's okay. We're going to talk about some amazing Christian music right now, specifically what's going on with these collaborations, because you see, Jelly Roll has been really involved in 2 collaborations that I know of that are sharing some really positive news, even sharing the gospel. Of course, he partnered up with Brandon Lake in Hard Fought Hallelujah. And there was another one with a country artist, and that one's really taken off. But this next one is more with a viral social media guy. This musician, I was looking at the tease for this release, which is coming out later this month, and it's already got over 12 million views. It's amazing how many people the song is already reaching before it even releases. I'm going to give you a taste of that song after a little explanation of what is going on in the music industry. Now, this is according to Corey Asbury. You've heard him plenty of times right here on our station. Yeah, he has a lot of great songs out there. And so he had some thoughts on this. 2 in particular. So here, I want you to hear from him, and then we'll take a listen to a little snippet of the song that's getting ready to release. See what you think about this.
I keep hearing people say Christian music has taken over the world, and I just saw a collab between Jelly Roll and this guy named Alex Warren, who's apparently a very famous TikTok guy. I have some good and bad news for you. Number 1, yes, that's good because more people are hearing about Jesus. Number 2, people are doing it because it's a formula that's working, okay? The positive, uplifting vibes are working right now, and it's working all across the board in every part of the industry. So people are exploiting that. But here's the thing about God, he still uses it, okay? And he still furthers his kingdom with it. So do I believe that most of it is contrived for numbers and streams? Yes. Yes, I do. A lot of it. I won't say most of it, a lot of it. But is it still furthering the kingdom, and are people still hearing about Jesus and getting saved from it? Yeah, I think so.
So there you go. Wow. So yeah, it might be being done for numbers and streams and exposure and because it's hot right now, but I mean, still, it's out there. People are learning about Jesus. People are hearing the gospel. They're actually feeling this thing, this feeling, this person who is bigger than them, the creator of it all through this music, and I love it. There are some people who are very skeptical of it, and I understand that, but let's see it as a win because more people are getting exposed to the gospel. Now, with a little taste of the upcoming song, it's called Bloodline from Alex Warren in collaboration with Jelly Roll. Here's a piece.
That storm keeps on raging, but don't you forget, God's not done with you yet. When it feels like you're losing the war in your head, just know this isn't the end. Oh, my brother, you don't have to follow in your bloodline.
So this one is supposed to come out May 23rd. Just letting you know. It's called Bloodline by Alex Warren, and Jelly Roll is collaborating on it. But a pretty cool song right there. And it's definitely got those vibes. Now back to some great music you know and love. This is new from Emerson Day. Get Behind Me. Right here, right now on the Lifeline Morning Show. Real hope, real faith, real life.
When fear like a viper strikes and worry starts to creep, I know that ain't my father's voice. It could only be that liar in my ear trying to make me believe. So I'm calling him out in the name of the Lord. Listen when I speak.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to give you a little peek behind the curtain, let you see what goes on behind the scenes here at the radio station. A little something that happened recently that really encouraged me. So, would you stick around? I'm going to finish getting this ready for you, but this is going to be really cool. It's going to go right along with our Waiting Well Wednesday theme. So, stick around. First, let me play you my favorite song right now. It's Jamie McDonald and Desperate.
I'm at the end of myself and I'm tired. I've tried all that I know to do.
If you'll indulge me, I want to share with you a personal story. This is a little behind the scenes of what happens here at the radio station, what you don't see, because, you hear a lot of voices here on our station for the ministry and business impact partners. And to be honest with you, those are people that I swap voices with. There are a few Facebook groups that I'm a part of. And so when we need a fresh voice, I go on there and I tell people, hey, I'm looking for somebody who can read a 30-second spot for me. I need you to sound inviting and, I'll give a few cues, give them the script, give them my email, and then they'll read it and send it my way. And then I return the favor. Well, there are relationships that start this way. It's really cool the way this works out because every now and then I get asked to do voiceovers for particular events across the country. It's really crazy to think about. So you could hear my voice in Oregon or in California or in this case, New York. I think it's so cool. But anyway, Rich he's an industry professional. He's in radio as well. And so he reached out and he was asking me if I could do a voiceover for a maple festival that they have up there in upstate New York. And so, of course, I'm always down for that. So I send him a few reads. I'm reading the script in my normal voice. And then I decide, just to be funny, I think I'm going to send him an over-the-top kind of read. That's where you don't just talk normal, you embellish a little bit. You add some bass to your voice. You might sound like, that that guy on the game show, a brand new car, that kind of thing, where you really cheese it up, right? So I decided to do that for him. Here, this is what it sounded like. And I even told him what I was up to. Take a listen to this. I decided that over-the-top one wasn't quite over-the-top enough, so here's a little more over-the-top. The maple sap is running, and that means it's time for the 53rd Central New York Maple Festival. This Saturday and Sunday, April 5th and 6th. See, it's got a little more voice, a little more bass to it, a little more gravitas, right? A little bigger announcer voice. And so I really had a fun time doing that. Really, I was doing it as a joke. I'm thinking, hey, this is way over the top. It sounds like one of those monster truck commercials. Sunday, 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 that kind of thing. But guess what? Oh my, I got a response back from Rich that I was not expecting. And it goes so well with today's theme of Waiting Well Wednesday. Because you see, I've been doing voiceovers like this for a while. And it's very rarely that I get feedback like this. And so I want you to hear what Rich had to say about it. It knocked my socks off. It was so cool.
Hey, bud, I just want to let you know that everyone over here has been commenting on your voice. That's right. They're like, is that the same guy that did that spot last time? I was like, yep. I think you should do your spots that way the whole time. Like all of them. I mean, serious. You sound great, bro.
That was really cool. That was a really nice compliment. And I never would have thought I would have gotten that from doing an over-the-top kind of read like that. Sounding like the big announcer thing. But hey, you know what? You've got to try new things. And every now and then it pans out. And people like it. So who knows? I might be doing more of those for other stations across the country. But you want to hear the whole thing produced? Okay, this is Rich produced it. He just put my voice on top of it. He picked the music and all that stuff. So here, you should hear this. The Big Voice Maple Festival. Here it is.
The maple sap is running, and that means it's time for the 53rd Central New York Maple Festival. This Saturday and Sunday, April 5th and 6th in Marathon, New York. The Maple Festival is the sure sign that spring is in the area. Come and shake that cabin fever away with a mapley sweet family weekend. Besides maple products, maple milkshakes, and maple cotton candy, there will be a pancake breakfast, fair foods, airboat rides, arts and crafts vendors, and live entertainment. For more information, go to www.maplefestival.org.
So, yeah, there you go. I don't know. Should I start doing the show in that voice? Should I start doing the show in that voice? I let my daughter hear that, and she's like, Dad, is that you? Yeah, that's me, darling. Anyway, a little peek behind the curtain. Thanks for indulging me. And hey, just having some fun here. And those compliments, they go a long way. And that was just a little compliment that Rich sent me. But can you imagine what kind of impact you're going to have on that person that you send a comment to today? That person you check in on by text message, or you just call them out of the blue just to say, hey, I was thinking about you today. How you doing? Or, you know, just telling them something that you really appreciate about them. Oh, it's going to knock their socks off too. So you have that kind of power. I just wanted to remind you of it. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. You're on the Lifeline Morning Show. Maybe we should get one more song in here, and then we'll get your ministry and business impact partners, your weather, and your word of life. It's Chris Tomlin. Nobody loves me like you on the Lifeline Morning Show.
I think that sometimes people are looking for the one big moment to share their faith. They're looking for the one big moment, the one big platform, or when they have the most amount of people's attention, they want, I'm going to share what God's done in my life. And really, that's a very small portion of how we share our faith with the world around us. How we share our faith with the world around us is through hundreds of little decisions and little interactions and little moments in our life, in our families, in our marriages, in our neighborhoods, and in school board meetings, and meetings with teachers, and at universities, and on the way through gas stations, and restaurants, and all of these. This is hundreds of opportunities. The little ones, it's those that matter the most. We have to demonstrate what we believe and who we serve to the world. Otherwise, it's just words. Everybody can say, I believe in something. But are you going to do it? Are you going to show the world who you belong to?
I got enemies at every side. It ain't looking good, I ain't gonna lie. Arrows flying, devils trying to make me think I'm going down this time.
So the couple is back today who realized, well, just how delicious macaroni and cheese is with cut up weenies in it. Yeah, that's right. The struggle food that we know and love around here just got discovered by this couple. And they're trying out some more struggle food. What did they try next? And how did they miss the mark with hot dogs this time? Stick around and we'll have some fun with this, okay? After Cutlass.
Let the king of my heart be the mountain where I run.
Here we are. We find ourselves talking about some struggle food again. You see, yesterday we met this couple and they're pretty cool. Yeah, they go by AO Safe Space over on the socials. They are Emma and EJ, and they decided to try another, well, struggle food. We'll call it recipe. Yeah, you know how you stretch $1, how you get a little extra protein in there with something cheap. Like, I don't know, yesterday they tried Kraft mac and cheese with some cut up weenies in there. Some hot dog weenies, right? A little added protein. They loved it. They're like, oh, this is the stuff right here. But today, a little different. they decided to take, well, here, I'll just let them tell you what they're up to, and we'll talk about it and see how we could improve on their experience. Take a listen.
All right, y'all asked for baked beans and hot dogs.
This must be like one of the most highly requested videos that we have so far. And I'm gonna say it right now, this is the struggliest of struggles for sure.
This is, yeah.
You're talking about hot dogs and beans.
Oh my gosh.
Canned beans. I'm excited though. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm excited, y'all. All right, let's get it.
I am too.
If you tried it any other way, let us know. Let us know how you tried it, how you had this growing up.
It's cool. The beans overpower the hot dog. I almost said hamburger. I don't mind baked beans. Mind you, this is like one of the first times I've ever tried baked beans, and I didn't realize how sweet they are. They overpower it too much for me. They're almost too sweet for me. Like, I would not be able to eat this every day.
Yeah. The fact that people, like, y'all ate this all the time.
Y'all eat this all the time.
Woo.
It's just,
Can't do it.
It's not terrible. Like, I'm not, but
not every day.
It ain't for me.
Love y'all.
Love y'all though.
Now, how did they mess this one up? Well, I have a few suggestions for you. One is, just because it's struggle food doesn't mean you can't spice it up. I mean, you maybe add a little barbecue sauce if you got that, maybe some ketchup, maybe some mustard in there, some brown sugar goes a long way. Really spice up those baked beans a little bit. But I think where they really went wrong was with the hot dog, because it's not sausage, it's just hot dog. There's a little saltiness to it, but I could see how it wouldn't really complement the baked beans that well. That's why around here in the South, well, when we have baked beans, if we got it to spare, we put a few strips of bacon in there. You know why? Because, I don't know, there's just that, it's the culmination of the saltiness of the bacon and the sweetness of the baked beans. And whenever we would have this growing up, I'd make sure to get one, if not two strips of bacon on my plate because I love the bacon. Anyway, so yeah, struggle food, otherwise known as beanie-weenies. I mean, those are a little different too. You can buy those already canned, right? Let's talk about some other struggle food though. How about some potted meat? You ever eat some potted meat before? Yeah? Salty stuff. Man, was it good. How about some Vienna sausages? Oh yeah. Did you drink the juice? I never really drank the juice. I kind of poured that out. And then I had to get a fork a hold of them because you stick your fingers down in there. There's not enough room to really pick them up, right? They kind of pinch off in your finger. Anyway, those are good too. Those were good. My granddad, he really loved the canned sardines on a cracker with a little Tabasco sauce. Oh, that's good. He liked the oysters too. But, what's another one? Let's see. Oh, I remember one that I had growing up. Fried potato sandwich. Or we call it a fried tater sandwich. That's right. 2 pieces of loaf bread, a little bit of mayonnaise, a little salt and pepper, and some fried potatoes right in between there. Oh, it was warm. It was so good. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it was really that good. Anyway, you know what? If you're up for it, let's talk about some struggle food. Tell me, what's the struggliest of struggle food that you've ever had to eat before? 256-505-0885 to call me so I can hear your voice. Or if you'd rather text, I understand, life gets busy. Text me, 256-967-0885. The struggliest of struggle foods that you've ever eaten before. 256-967-0885 to text, or 256-505-0885 right now to call me up and let me know. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Got some more great music headed your way. How about some Elevation Rhythm? Well, Goodbye Yesterday right here, right now on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. Oh, I just thought of another one.
Goodbye yesterday, I'm living in the light of a new day.
Talking about struggle food this morning, I realized that fried tater sandwiches, it's not necessarily that much of a struggle of food, especially if you don't have the taters to eat, because some of you grew up eating ketchup sandwiches. Bread, ketchup, that's it. I've heard those stories too. So what is the struggliest of struggle foods that you've ever had to eat? I would love to know. Call me 256-505-0885 or text 256-967-0885. Have I told you about my concoction of ramen noodles and tuna fish? Get ready, and I will regale you of my college story, of my nutritional endeavors. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. So we're talking struggle food, and I guess I'll go ahead and tell you. So when I was in college, I really had a hard time cooking stuff. I mean, I knew how to cook a few things, but I never really spent that much time in the kitchen. Well, not that much time in the kitchen cooking, more time in the kitchen eating. Anyway, I was off to college, had my own apartment. And so I found myself cooking little concoctions here and there. And one thing I grew to love was considered after I told somebody what I had done, they said it was prison food of all things. But basically it's ramen noodles. You take those, put them down in the water, boil them, and then drain the water off. Oh, go ahead and put the flavor packet in there. My favorite was chicken, right? The chicken flavor packet. And then, you know how you make a tuna fish sandwich where you take the mayonnaise and the tuna and you mix it up in a bowl? Sometimes I really like onions in there too, but I don't remember doing onions in this particular recipe. So you take in a separate bowl the mayonnaise and the tuna, mix it up together, and then you take from that bowl and you put it into the bowl with the ramen noodles and you mix it all up. It's almost like a struggle food tuna ramen casserole. And believe it or not, it was delicious. Was it fattening? You better believe it. Did it fill an empty spot? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did. So that was my struggle food in college. Hey, you want to tell me about your struggle food? I'd love to hear about it. Or you might not call it struggle food anymore. You might just call it food because let's be honest, we grow to love this stuff. And so it just becomes part of our everyday. Anyway, it's been a while since I did that, though. It's a treat every now and then. 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Or if you'd rather text, here it is, 256-967-0885. All right, back to the music.
How do you know when you're getting old? You find pleasure in your hostas popping up.
Yeah, you do. My hostas have already popped up. And the hydrangea bush, well, it is getting nice little buds just inside. And the azaleas are already blooming too. So I'm a little past just the flowers now, though. You see, I find joy in feeding the birds. I know, it's weird, right? It's like I never knew I'd get to this point because I used to watch my grandparents do that. They loved watching the birds. And now I really love watching them too. But can we talk for a second about some squirrels? The squirrels that love the bird feeder? Yeah. So I've got 3 bird feeders in our front, right there in the flower garden, just off our front porch. So it's not too far from the banister, the handrail that leads up to the front porch, right up the stairs. And so the squirrels will get on that handrail and they will go to town on that bird feeder that's nearest. They'll reach over with their little hands and grab some of those sunflower seeds and pull them in and start eating them. Well, they also know exactly where I keep the bag that I use to refill these feeders. It's right there on the front porch. And so it's a big plastic bag, but I've noticed recently that the squirrels have burrowed a hole through, so now they just help themselves straight to the source. Oh, what you don't know is I know exactly what my neighbor does. He's got a little shooting blind that he's got set up in his backyard. Every now and then he'll get in that thing with his little rifle and he'll start picking off squirrels in his yard because they pester the birds. So I don't think I'm going to revert to that. I enjoy watching the squirrels eat too, but they can get a little rowdy. Oh, and every now and then we see these little chipmunks come up on our front porch and they'll get those seeds too. It's just a lot of fun watching that wildlife. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Now some Matthew West with Unashamed right here on your 88.5 JFM.
3 brothers in a fire, willing to die for their faith. But you were with them in the fire, and they walked out the next day.
Well, good morning, and welcome to This Day in History, a chance for us to look back on yesteryear to celebrate some milestones and some achievements, the movers and the shakers who brought us this far. So what happened on this day in history? On this day in 1769, George Washington bring a package of resolutions before the Virginia House of Burgesses, attacking the taxation without representation policy of the American colony's mother country, England. This policy and others ultimately led to the launch of the War of Independence in 1776. On this day in 1867, Alfred Nobel filed a British patent for dynamite. In 1875, he went on to invent gelignite. Both were intended for engineering applications. As a committed pacifist, Nobel hoped that his explosives would provide such a deterrent to war that they would bring peace to mankind. In his will, he endowed the annual Nobel Prizes, awarded to those who have conferred the greatest benefit on mankind, in 5 categories, including peace. On this day in 1912, in New York City, Columbia University approved final plans for awarding the first Pulitzer Prize, established by publisher Joseph Pulitzer. On this day in 1915, the unarmed Cunard liner Lusitania, you probably heard that in history school, right? The Lusitania, was torpedoed and sunk by a German U-boat with the loss of over 1,000 lives, a fact that is thought to have hastened American involvement in World War I. Also on this day in 1963, the communication satellite Telstar 2 was launched by the United States. I believe that I have made contact with Telstar 2 before when I was working in news, when we do satellite shots. It was pretty interesting stuff. Also, on this day, I did a little research on Christian significance on this day. On this day in 1946, William Branham, he claimed to have had an angelic visitation. Yeah, William Marion Branham, who would become a prominent figure in the healing revival movement, claimed to have received an angelic visitation commissioning his ministry. The event marked the beginning of his influence in Pentecostal and charismatic circles. I did a little more research, and this was a little excerpt of what he had to say about this angelic visitation. But when the angel of the Lord appeared to me out there on Green's Mill Bank, out there in that little cabin that night, he told me to go, and I'd be praying for statesmen and great men and kings and monarchs. It would sweep around the world, and now there's a revival sweeping the world originating in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Now that was an excerpt from one of his messages. I thought that was worth noting this morning. I did a little more research in the healing movement. And, you know, there were some pretty influential people who came out of those times. Yeah. People, I think, I don't want to get this wrong, so let me double check myself because I want to give you the right information here. Tell you what, I'll get back to you on that. I don't want to mess this up. So, there's that. And then on this day in 1946, Sony Corporation, a major Japanese manufacturer of consumer electronics products, was founded by Ibuka Masaru and Morita Akio. So Sony got its start this day in 1946. Now, let's get to some birthdays, shall we? On this day in 1833, Johannes Brahms was born. You've heard that last name, right? A German composer, classical music. Also, on this day in 1840, another composer, Peter Tchaikovsky, the Russian composer, Swan Lake and the Nutcracker, he was born in 1840. And there you have it. That's this day in history. So I'm going to close this book, bring this music down, and remind you of the simple truth. There are many facts and figures all throughout this book, many excerpts of people's lives and how they influenced the world around them, how they did impact the culture, and they changed history. What an honor for their history to be written in a book where people would learn about them long after they're gone. You know, it's a very humbling thing, and I hope that for you. I hope that your history is written in a book like this so people can read about the good things that you've done when you're long gone. But can I tell you something? Even if it's not written in a history book, I can tell you where it is being written every single day. It's on the hearts and in the minds of every person you come in contact with, how you make them feel. So I wonder if you can take a challenge with me today. It's simply this: let's resolve to make good history today so that when others think of us, they'll get a smile on their face, a little extra warmth in their hearts. Can you take that challenge? I knew you could. Thanks for hanging out with me. Okay, I told you I'd get back with you on the Branham story. So Branham's ministry served as an inspiration for other evangelists like T.L. Osborne, A.A. Allen, and Oral Roberts, who also started their healing revivals too. So there you go. That's the rest of the story. Now, Crowder and Somebody Prayed. The hope in sharing any story here on the radio is, well, that you will relate with it, that you'll see how it's playing out in your life because, hey, we're doing life together. And so we want to talk about things that we're going through. We want to talk about those situations and circumstances we find ourselves in and how to make our way through it, with the least amount of friction possible. We want to learn some good truths from one another. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. Make your day a little bit better. And with that in mind, coming up next, I've got a message for you from Brian Trent. It's about 1.5 minutes, but as you know, they're always good. And this one, well, it's really good. So stick around, hear it for yourself after For King and Country with a song called Relate.
Does life hit you so hard that you've been knocked down?
It's that time of the morning for us to check in with a good friend of ours. His name is Brian Trent from Hampton, South Carolina, where he and his family, well, they're all across the socials under this handle, Trent Tribe. Now, Brian pastors Lighthouse Church in Hampton, South Carolina, and he and his family are amazing on the socials. Every day is something new, and lots of times it's that aha moment, that, I never thought of it like that kind of moment. So how about today? Well, it's no different. I want you to take a listen to this. Now, give it some time. He's going to start off with a little bit of a quote, and then he's going to dig into it. And it is so good.
Listen to this quote. It is not enough for me to know that my sin is forgiven. I have a fountain of sin within my heart, and bitter waters continually flow from it. Oh, that my nature could be changed, so that I, the lover of sin, could be made a lover of that which is good. That I, now full of evil, could become full of holiness. Oh, you see, I struggled with this very thing when I first came to know Jesus. But Matthew 5:6 says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. You see, it's a process. Day by day, as we hunger and thirst for righteousness, as we dig into God's word, and as we continue to listen for him to speak to us, he fills us with his righteousness. And in the process, the hurt and the pain that sin has caused in us begins to leave. You see, God's righteousness floods our hearts. And in return, the pain of sin has no choice but to leave. You see, righteousness has replaced the pain with healing, the hate with love. And before you know it, the King has not only captured your heart, but he has mended your heart with his righteousness from the inside out. Be encouraged. Love you.
Testify to Love. That's Avalon right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. That's a throwback right there. Oh, I love that song from 1996. Hard to believe it was that many years ago. But hey, how do you testify to love on a daily basis? Sometimes it's through the smile on your face. Sometimes it's through, a compliment. Maybe a little, comment of support to somebody in your life. Maybe it's even holding the door open for a stranger. I know those are small ways, but still, every little bit counts. That's how you're living your faith out loud today. I got a story for you about a homeless guy, and, well, he was waiting. He just wasn't waiting too well until he decided to bring God into the situation. He asked God for help, and God showed up. It's a story you're not going to want to miss, so don't miss it. Stick around. We'll get to it right after Jeremy Camp, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I love hanging out with you, and I've got a story for you. Oh, my. This one is so good. Are you ready to get into it? All right. Well, let's go. Here it is. Today's good news comes from Melbourne, Australia, and it's a beautiful reminder that while we're waiting, God is still working. It's a story of Daniel. He's a man who's been homeless for 18 years. On Easter Sunday, he sat alone at a tram stop, hiding his belongings in bushes after being robbed of everything. No money, no home, no hope. He was at the end of his rope, but he had one thing left, a prayer. He told God, if I could just be met halfway, And then, 5 minutes later, someone did meet him halfway. A woman named Hillary Holmes, a local makeup artist just enjoying the day with her family, saw him, stopped, and brought him a bag of snacks and drinks. But more importantly, she took the time to listen. And that small moment turned into something massive. Hillary didn't stop with kindness. She started a GoFundMe to help Daniel get back on his feet. In just days, it raised over $31,000. And the changes in Daniel's life, they are profound. He's got new glasses after years of struggling to read. A nickname at church, they call him Hollywood thanks to his sharp new look. A community that made him feel seen and valued, and hope for a permanent place to call home. Daniel said this to Hillary: "Do you actually know how you have changed my life?" No, Hillary, you and your friends really have. But maybe the most powerful line in the story is still this: "I asked God for help, and 5 minutes later, He showed up." That's the power of patience. That's the beauty of trusting God's timing. It might not be instant, but it's never late. You know, sometimes just like nature, God moves in rhythms. Isn't that cool? And sometimes when we've waited long, well, the breakthrough shows up with snacks, love, and a whole lot of grace. And that story right there, oh, wow. That should give you a little sunshine, put a little smile on your face, because, hey, if He's done it for this homeless guy, don't you know that that same God is with you every step of the way, and that He's part of your story? Maybe you've been waiting for a while, and you've forgotten to include Him in the wait. Maybe you're waiting, but you're not quite waiting well. Well, can I just encourage you to offer up that prayer today? Talk with your Heavenly Father about what's going on in your life, and see if He doesn't show up just like He did for this guy, for Daniel, through Hillary. It's a pretty cool thing, isn't it? Thanks for hanging out with me right here on the Lifeline. Here's Torrin Wells. Take it all back.
Fears got me living with the lights out, chained down like a prisoner in my own house. Shame cycles like a deadly medication. I try, but I can't change my situation.
Well, the time has come for me to bid you adieu. But before I do, I'd like to share with you an inspiring quote. In fact, some might say it's the most inspiring quote of the day, from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Nature doesn't rush. It trusts the season it's in, and it waits well." And maybe that's the invitation today. If you're in the middle of something slow, if your prayer hasn't been answered, if it feels like everyone else is moving ahead while you're still standing still, just remember this: God has not forgotten you. The breakthrough might not be visible yet, but that doesn't mean the soil is empty. Something is growing. Maybe it's strength. Maybe it's endurance. Maybe it's trust. But it's not wasted. And when the time is right, not when you push it, not when you force it, but when He says the word, it will bloom. So breathe deep. Keep watering your faith and adopt the pace of grace, because patience is where the miracles begin. I'll see you back here tomorrow from 6 to 10 for another Lifeline morning show. Remember, you can catch today's show in podcast form on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at 10:30 this morning. On those platforms, just type in Lifeline Morning Show. And do me a favor, share the show with somebody today. Somebody who needs a little encouragement. Somebody who could use a little inspiration, a little oomph to get them through the day. I greatly appreciate it. We're just trying to reach as many people as we possibly can with some really good news. And you are a part of that story. So thank you so much for being here. Now, how about a little unspoken with what He says about you? I'll see you tomorrow, 6 to 10.